Hi there, I'm Tim from Launchpresso Digital Marketing, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to troubleshoot your purchase conversion actions in Google Ads for your Shopify store. In my previous video on how to set up purchase conversion actions, which you can go and view just up here, I've had a lot of people reach out to me through YouTube with issues with their conversion tracking in general. So I've decided to put this video together just to show you where you can go in your Google Ads account to be able to identify where you've got issues with your conversion tracking, particularly the purchase conversion action, and how to go about fixing that. Now, with that said, some of these issues could be quick fixes, which I will cover in this video. And once you've watched this video and you have found that your issues are quite complex, you're more than welcome to reach out to me in the link in the description and in the first pinned comment just below, and I'll be happy to take a look for you, as we do provide conversion tracking, troubleshooting, and fixes as a service. And with that said, let me take you over to my screen right now. Here we are in my test Google Ads account for my test Shopify store, cheapcampinggear.net. And before I start working through the account, you may be finding within your Google Ads account that you may be getting 0 transactions at all, or you might be getting transactions that are way out of whack compared to what the sales that you're getting in your Shopify store. So where do we actually go to identify these issues? I'm glad you asked. So first, let's come over to the goals area and come to summary. And firstly, we need to identify within the conversion actions that it's in its right category. So we've got our purchase conversion actions, add to cart, checkout, and so on, okay? Next, within the purchase conversion actions, coming across to the status column, we can hover over where it says inactive, or it might say no recent conversions. This is the first telltale sign to know if your actual conversion tracking is working at all. If it does say it's active and it's green, it would look a little like this here, and it's showing it's recording conversions. However, you're finding that the numbers are way out. That's a completely separate issue, which I'll cover in just a moment. So coming back to the test account, first place is to determine whether the conversion tracking is working or has been installed correctly or not, is firstly to come to your Shopify store, come to settings, select checkout, and then scroll down to the bottom where it actually shows the order status additional scripts. Now, what I'm about to show you is for the conversion tag in Google Ads. So this is not taking consideration your Google Analytics for this particular conversion action, because it's best practice to use the actual conversion tag within a Shopify store to ensure that it's correct, has the best accuracy, and is also collecting the enhanced conversions, which I'll cover in another video in the future. So this is the back of my client Shopify store. We can see here the additional scripts area. Now this is being deprecated. So if it has been deprecated in your store, there's a small highlight there to say revert or go back, whatever it looks like, just in case your additional scripts are not accessible. And in my test store here in the back end, this is where my additional scripts lie. And we can see we do have the purchase conversion snippet added into the checkout area correctly with the first time access. And I'll come back to this in a moment why this is important. This is the first point of call of where I look. Now, if you're not using the order status page additional scripts, the next place to come back to the settings, come to customer events. And you want to see here if the conversion script has been added into the customer events here as a custom pixel. We can click inside that. And we can see that if it's been added, and we've got all the enhanced conversions data as well added into this area. So that's the second area to check whether the conversion tag for purchase has been added correctly. Next location to come and check if it is working correctly, if you're not using the scripts in the back of the Shopify store itself, is in the Google Tag Manager. If you've been utilizing the Google Tag Manager, maybe your conversion script has been added in there by your tracking guys or your developer, whoever it may be. And you want to double check here if your conversion tag has been added correctly. This is the top level tag for my store, which is the script that needs to be added into the header of the site or using Google Tag Manager. And you want to ensure that it's firing for this particular tag, and you've got it set up so that the conversion script is firing in the checkout if you're using the Google Tag Manager, which is not the best practice for Shopify stores. However, you may have your reasons that you've got it set up in here. If you're wanting to know where to find your script for setting up the conversion actions, click inside the conversion action that says website, and is not a conversion action being used by an app. This is the one I named previously. So if we click inside it, we can see here as we scroll down, it says tag setup. Click inside that. Now you can install it yourself, and all you need is HTML. You can state that the Google tag hasn't been added across all HTML pages, because you may have added in the tag using Google Analytics 4. You can always state that it's been added. If it hasn't, you can state it's been added, then you'll need to just add this config script to the actual Google tag itself. And you can also see here that the tag on all pages was installed already when you created the conversion actions. Then you can go and grab this particular code. Now this script can work. It's better to have this particular first time access added into the snippet event as well. So it ensures that you only trigger this snippet one time and not every time someone comes back to an order status page, which is important to check. So if the Google tag hasn't been installed to the header of your Shopify store, where would you find that? You would come to your online store, come to this three dots here, click this and go to edit code, and you come to theme liquid, and this is the area here where you would add in the Google tag, and you would fit it in between the opening header tag and your closing header tag if you were not using Google Tag Manager. If you're using Google Tag Manager, you can scroll back up just here in the Google Ads account and select Use Google Tag Manager, and you can take the conversion ID and the conversion label, and you can add that in as a tag in here by creating a new tag and then going through and following the prompts in here. So quickly coming back, also what's important is that you need to at least have one primary conversion action in here that is being optimized, and also is one goal within the account in terms of purchases. So if you were to hover over here, it will tell you a bit more about primary and secondary conversions. I do cover that in another video just up in here. And also you don't want multiple primary conversions in here if you're covering purchases, unless you have a completely separate checkout within your Shopify store, which you may even have a subdomain where you might be wanting to track your purchase conversions through a separate tag. And just touching on primary and secondary conversions and ensuring that you've only got the one account goal, or you might have multiple account goals, but they're not all under purchase. You may also be covering contact forms to be able to capture leads. So that's another reason why to have it as primary. If you do have multiple primary conversion actions and you need to change them, the best way to do that is to come to edit goal, come down here and state if you're going to be using purchase, for example, as the account default goal. And if you don't, and then you can go through and double check here and click the drop down for primary actions or secondary actions, which is observing only, which I think is important to have in the account, by the way. I personally do have multiple. I have the Google Analytics 4 purchase conversion action in here, as well as the Google and YouTube Shopify app as well, which from a previous video I set to primary action as an example. Once you've got those set, you can save the changes and then you're good to go from that side of things. Now that we've got that covered, but you're still having issues, you can always test if the scripts are firing properly. And the best way to do that is if you do see these where it says actions troubleshoot, you can always click troubleshoot. It demonstrates how to test your conversion action with the tag assistant. So what you may need to do is create a test coupon code so you can add products to your cart, but not actually pay for it. So you might have a 100% discount with also free shipping. So create that coupon code, open up the tag assistant in a new tab, connect it with your website, do a test purchase to see if it is triggering using that code I just mentioned. If it is firing correctly, or you got multiple firing, you know exactly what's going on and where you need to go to investigate based on everything I just mentioned earlier. So you click through, click connect, and you see the tag assistant's working, and then you go through, and this is where you would actually find where a tag would be firing for the purchase conversion. Now that you determined your scripts are in place, and that one only should be firing, what should you do if you're getting multiple sales or purchase conversion data and or conversion value within the Google Ads account that's not being reflected in the sales that you're actually getting in the back of your Shopify store? Again, I'm glad you asked, because first way to determine whether the numbers are completely out is to come to under campaigns, select campaigns, make sure you got your columns in place. So I'll click modify and I'll come down to all columns, and under conversions, I just want to make sure that I've got my standard conversions and my conversion value, as well as all conversions and all conversion value. Save that under my name, save and apply. And then I'll click segments and click conversion actions. And we can see here under this client account of mine who's just started with me, who did have a double counting within their Google Ads account. We can see here we had two purchase conversions being fired at once, one with only having conversion value and the other not having any conversion value at all. So it wasn't recording the purchase data correctly into the Google Ads account. And as we scroll down further, we can see that there was actually other conversions that were set as primary, and it looks like it was and added as conversion values. And we can see here it was probably set to $1, which can be a default when setting up these conversion actions in the back of Google Ads. So we got all this cleaned up for them, and now after a 30-day period, and now that's all looking good. However, that was not their main issue. Besides coming back into the summary for the conversion goals and checking if your primary and secondaries are set up correctly, if you come into the conversion action, which is now set to primary, if we to click inside and then come to web pages, an issue that we were finding with this account, we had two different URLs for every time there was a purchase. We had one checkout purchase in this URL structure, and then we had others that looked like this. Essentially, we're having two different types of pages firing at the same time within Shopify that essentially shouldn't have been. So where to go to ascertain and identify where 2 scripts could be firing at once within the back of Shopify store in the checkout scripts. So if we come back to the Shopify store for this client and we come to settings again and come to checkout, scrolling down back down to the scripts, here we identified there's one purchase conversion script added into the additional scripts of the checkout area. And we also found under the customer events that this enhanced purchase conversion script was also firing through a sandbox. And how we knew it was firing twice was not just looking here at these web pages to see that we had 2 separate types of checkout pages that were firing at once. But if we come back to the conversion goals level and select view all conversion actions and come to the right-hand side, we found that this repeat rate, which you can find here under the columns. If you come to performance, check the repeat rate box, save and apply, replace. You can see here the repeat rate, which is essentially how often people are coming back to buy, was more than 2, but technically speaking, they weren't coming back to buy. It was firing more than once within Shopify and therefore sending that data across into the Google Ads. Prior to us fixing this repeat rate was over 2, which was completely throwing out the conversion value numbers and the conversion action data itself. And you'll never really know what your true return on your ad spend will be. Come back down to the last 14 days. We can see now that the repeat rate is now down to 1.06, which is fine. Acceptable rate is somewhere in between 1 to 1.1. Depending if you have a lot of sales within a month or depending on the click-through conversion window that you have set up with that conversion action, you can see that here. This repeat rate is acceptable. Now, not only would you be checking if you've got double scripts going on in the back of your Shopify store, you want to also check there's non-additional script firing in your Google Tag Manager as well. And that's pretty much it for today's video and how I actually navigate my way around Google Ads accounts and Shopify stores to troubleshoot with the purchase conversion action. And if you're finding your issues are more complex than what I've shown you today, as already mentioned, we do this as a service. Please reach out to us in the first link in the description or in the first comment pinned below. And if you are finding value in our videos and you want to stay up to date with the Google Ads and Shopify tips that I do bring out, hit like and subscribe just below. And with that said, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.